Welcome to The Other Side of the Bridge with City Paranormal, where they discuss real investigations, first-hand experiences, unexplained moments, and everything that happens when you step off the regular path and onto the other side of the bridge. Just honest paranormal talk, Iron City Paranormal style. And now, here are your hosts, Derek Smith and Dan Metelsky.
There are places where the familiar fades and the unknown begins. A bridge is one of those places. It's where we leave solid ground behind, and for a moment, we're suspended between what we understand and what we don't. Tonight, we're crossing that bridge together. Welcome back to The Other Side of the Bridge, the show where we explore real experiences, strange encounters, and unanswered questions from the space in between. We're not here to tell you what we believe. We're here to walk with you across the bridge and into the unknown. Everybody, welcome back to the Iron City Paranormal podcast, The Other Side of the Bridge. Tonight's episode is something that hits real close to home for us, and that's why we named the show The Other Side of the Bridge, right? So we're going to be talking about bridges, water, and crossings, everything paranormal, psychological, you name it, right? So I find it hard to believe that Pittsburgh has more bridges than Venice.
Right. It's one of those things, like, right? It's just being from here. It's one of those, it's just a weird fact that, like, we have the most bridges. Why are we so proud of it? Who knows? But if it's because it's a thing, exactly. It's just a thing that we can rest on. We love it. You look at we were talking about, doing an episode on bridges. And so I started looking up totals, just, out of sheer curiosity. And what I was finding are, like, legit bridges that span from one side to the other. There's a total of 446 in this area. Mm-hmm. But if you add on top of it, like, elevated crossings and, those small bridges that you don't really consider a bridge, there's over 700. That's insane.
That's wild.
Yeah. That's insane. Like, how?
Thank God we make steel in Pittsburgh still, because that's, like, the only way you can get around is over some sort of bridge or something, which is why it stinks to get in and out of the city three ways. That's why all the good people live north. Eric, I'm sorry. Like, we don't have to do that.
Well, I mean, you don't come here this way that often anyway, so you're fine.
No, there's reason for that. Besides the fact that it's on the other side of the river, you're there.
I'm not sure where you were going with that, but anyway.
No, you're good.
Oh, I do agree, though. It is such an integrated part of our culture here. And I know there are other areas, like, that are around rivers like we are, that can have convergences of waterways that we do. But it is so ingrained in the culture and in the psyche and the Pittsburgh people that it's astonishing, really. Like, it is something that we're proud of. Like, it's one of our little quirky characteristics here that, like, we love about our city and about the people here. And we carry it with pride, which is interesting.
Well, and it's ingrained in you from a young age. I know I was talking to my daughter, who's 6 years old, about it the other day. Like, it's in your head now. It's there,
Yeah.
The seed is planted, and I didn't mean to. It just came up. It just happened.
Even my little ones, like, they're tiny, but they know, like, we'll go across the bridges here that are near us. And we were going across the other day over into Monaca near our area. And my 3-year-old looks at me. He goes, "Mommy, we haven't gone over that bridge yet." Why haven't we gone over that bridge? And it's so interesting that, like, they know, right? Like, they know, and they're so excited about it. Like, they get excited about it from a young age. And then we just, like, foster that as we get older. It's so fun.
So this is how my brain worked when I was a child. So my younger sister is 4 years younger than me, and in my wisdom of 4 years older Daniel, I told my younger sister, who was she was afraid to cross bridges when we were in cars. Like she didn't want to cross bridges when my parents were driving. I convinced her, because we were sitting in the back seat of the car all the time together, and I convinced her that all bridges were made of cardboard.
Oh.
So like it made the fear so much worse, and it lasted. Like my parents, very much like the whole, like, they didn't tell us that ghosts weren't real, right? They kind of just went with it, and they didn't say like Daniel's just being a jerk, like bridges aren't made of cardboard. So
they just let it happen
a while, and I think it lasted at least like a year or so before they told her, or at least before she believed them.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so you take that and you put it into a place where there's 446 bridges, and so it's like she was doomed no matter where she went.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't go anywhere without seeing one. But
that's true.
You know, it's crazy. It is. It's just an unwritten rule that you have to know these things too.
It does. So on the paranormal side of the world.
Oh, that's right. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, let's get back into it here, Derek. So on the paranormal side of the world, you know, there's many different reasons that people believe that there's a heightened paranormal activity surrounding waterways, surrounding bridges, both psychological and more concrete examples, you know, throughout history of why, you know, why bridges are so commonly wrapped into paranormal lore, so to speak. And, you know, Aaron's going to get a little bit into like the spiritual side of these things as far as water is concerned. But as far as like bridges, right, we're gonna refer to these things as thin places. When we say thin places, it's not that I'm not there, because I'm not thin, right? But these thin places are more about, it's almost like the boundary between worlds, so to speak, between like maybe the living and the dead, or this dimension and the other, or whatever, you know, wherever the ghosts live usually. It's a thought like this is where the boundary between the worlds just feels closer, right? When we cross,
think about it, it's not just bridges either. If you think about it, you know, we've experienced these things plenty of times. Like an example would be mirrors. Mirrors create this thinness, this place where you can actually feel the energy change, and they really are. It's incredible when you think of it in this manner, because you know, water does carry this power, right? I mean, how many things were operated by water flow in the past, you know, that literally built the city. And you combine that with, I mean, what do we consider the paranormal? How many times do we consider it energy? So the sheer amount of energy moving in these waterways with these mass amounts of open spaces with this water flow, you know, if you combine all those things, that's a big part of the reason why these places feel so different. And living in this city, you know, how much more opportunity is there around here? You know, it's all around us. We've experienced it. You can't go anywhere without crossing a bridge. So what comes with the bridge? Water, and this energy, this power that's with it. You know, we hear stories like that all the time. And if you think about it, it's not just here, right? But we're focusing on it because of the convergence of the three rivers. But it's everywhere. There's if you really think about some of these places, you can think, well, you know what? There is a river right there, or there is water nearby. So how much does that actually add to it too? You know,
I wonder how much has to do with the minerals underneath as well. And maybe Dan, you may be able to either of you might be able to speak to this a little bit more. Like, having spent time living in Colorado near waterways, there didn't seem, and maybe I wasn't as tuned into it out there, but there didn't seem to be as like the electric feeling that you get here. Whereas here with, is there like slate or shale or something underneath, like something that's more conducive?
It's sandstone.
there has to be something that's more conducive to the energy that's here too. And even like to your point, whenever you're talking about like going over the water, it really has to do with that fluidity. It's the same thing that we see whenever we come across the mirrors. There's that fluidity that we come into contact with, and that convergence in that. I mean, water really is a conductor of energy. I mean, we can see that, right? Like you stand in a puddle, you get hit by I mean, it was just the other day, somebody got electrocuted while they were running with their dog down in Pittsburgh, right? Because they stepped on a waterway where it was, right? So that the electricity is being conducted through there. It is a conductor of energy. So to have that fluidity there right under your feet, it's really incredible. I mean, you walk anywhere near it, and maybe it has to do with a combination of, the history that's tied to it here. It was such a historical place, combined with some of the pain and the trauma in the area, in combination with the minerals in the earth, in the water, and just like a whole little package of things that put us in this space.
Well, that's actually a really cool concept there, and I never thought about like the stone that is under the water, right? Because I think it's a lot to do with why they think Gettysburg is active as it is.
That's what made me think about it.
That's exactly like when you started talking about that, Aaron, like my mind went to Gettysburg, and I think that's why, besides the fact that Gettysburg battle was there, they think that the paranormal energy is hanging around there. I think it's sandstone though, because I think it's
limestone.
Is it limestone? That's what it is.
Like anything like that, that's underneath. I mean, you even think of like the Estes Hotel out in Colorado. They directly believe that a lot of the energy there is conducted through the minerals in the ground and directing that energy up. It's very similar. I mean, we've seen some of those ley lines and how they're interacting with the investigations that we've had in the past, and how they're impacting our technology whenever we're out there, impacting the energy that we're feeling, the intuition that we're feeling, those kind of things. So I really think it's on, especially if you have that laying underneath water, if it's going to be super conducing that, conducting that energy, it's going to make a massive impact.
Yeah, and besides all of that, right? That's the paranormal side of why water is as conductive to spirits as it potentially is, but then also there's the psychological angle as well, right? And that's a big part. And when we started researching this, the first thing that came to my mind, I read a story years ago. It's actually really morbid, but it was a story about somebody that had interviewed people that went to the Golden Gate Bridge to commit suicide, and they didn't, and they came off of the bridge and they told their story to these people, the writing this book, and
why they did not jump.
Yeah, well, why they didn't jump, but also what led them to want to do it in the first place, besides their trauma that some of them were going through, a lot of them were going through, besides like that, that bad thing that was happening to them, or a series of bad things. They talk about like that call. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's called the call of the void, where when you're up somewhere high, your body, for some reason, your brain just almost makes you feel like you just picture yourself jumping over the edge and just like feel that weightlessness. There's like a whole thing to it. It's super strange and something that we could spend a whole episode talking about, I'm sure. But like that's exactly where my mind went, and then it led into this psychological part of bridges. There's so much to that puts our, like, if you look back in I don't know how you say this, like the thing that makes humans. I don't know how you call that, but it's like it's in our psyche, right? That water is danger, heights are danger, and then anything that we don't understand or don't know is also danger. So you take all three of those damn things and you put them together, and you got a bridge.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, just getting to that, like at the core of our humanity, like we are not meant to be 50 feet up in the air, right? Like we're not birds, we do not fly, we're not meant to
We're
be
not
up
meant
there.
to
So
be over water.
there's
Right.
naturally a sense of unease, right? Like you are in an unnatural, even if you are grounded in your car or walking across and you have your feet on the ground, you are still physically in an unnatural position where we would not naturally be without assistance, right?
I mean, if you think about it, it really harkens back to our instincts. If you hear stories about why we're afraid of the dark, because we were supposed to be, because predators hunted us way back. It's a very similar scenario where we're not supposed to be here. We're in another one of these places where it's we're just not meant to be. It's not normal, it's not natural. So to put us to that aspect of it, you can feel it. You can feel that there's something not right here when you're on these things, and when you look around and see where you're standing, see what's underneath you. You got that whole feeling, that urge to look over the edge, right? To walk up to the railing and just look, and it's there. You can't explain it, but it's there. It happens. So
right, but then what does that do to you, like psychologically, right? Like when you're on the bridge or you're up somewhere high or you're by somewhere, like by something you shouldn't be by, like your brain is just going, like it is just ramped up. It is listening to everything, and I think it's very much what happens when we investigate, right? It's like we go into a space, we are on high alert. Like if our ears could peak, like our
they're
ears
right
would
there,
be on top of our head.
Dog, right?
Exactly. And and I think that's what I don't want to say we waste time doing it, but like when we are investigating, like our heightened awareness of everything around us, because of the unknown, because of the dark, because of the potential ghosts in the area, like we end up spending probably at least half of our time convincing ourselves that it's, or not convincing ourselves, but proving to ourselves that noise we think is a ghost or a spirit, we try to figure out, we debunk it, right? Like that's where that debunk word comes from. Like, so we spend all this time telling our brains there is a reason for that noise. There is a reason for that sound, or that cold breeze going through, or what have you. That's all because of what we're talking about, right? Like that heightened sense of awareness just kind of like puts you in like heightened, like this, like I said, dog mode.
To that point, when you're on a bridge, you can feel it. Like you don't need to see that you're out there. You could be in this place and you can actually feel that you're there. You can close your eyes, but you still know that you're there. You're on that bridge because of these senses. And it is really strange when you really think about it, where we are in those times at that time. And you're right. It's certain emotions and senses that you can't really even control.
Yeah, exactly. So we have a lot of stuff that we want to get into. There's 446 bridges, you said, Derek, to pick from. Right. We've got 3 big rivers, the Ohio, Monongahela, Allegheny, right? So 3 big rivers. You got to have bridges over all of them. They're really barriers, right? And we're going to talk about not only in Pittsburgh and a few of the bridges in Pittsburgh, but we also have an investigation that we want to talk about that unfortunately Erin wasn't with us at the time whenever we did this investigation, but of course she knows about it, from being around us long enough, which is one of our first, in my mind, one of our first true moments that made me go, oh God, like this is something I want to continue to do. Right. And that is also something that is surrounded by water. And it's something that we're going to talk about, following the ad break in a couple minutes. So we're not going to get into it too much, but that's Blennerhassett Island, which holds a special place in our hearts, Derek.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of those moments where I think we kind of stepped outside of our comfort zone, of being just you and I, and we were able to actually begin to share some of our knowledge and expertise too. So in that investigation. There's so many different facets of that. We could probably spend multiple episodes on that. But yeah, this island, it's legitimately, it's an island. It's surrounded by water. You cannot get there unless you take a boat to it. So that's one of our moments where we took a step in our investigative process. So we used to carry cases and everything. At that point, after we did that once. We trekked across it on the boat, and we camped, and we're like, we're not doing this again. So we made some big changes, adding our cases and carrying, with the big wheels now and everything. And that was just one of those foundation moments where a lot of things changed. But that was a very unique investigation, and you could tell there was something different there. And I do attribute a lot of that to the energy that basically surrounds the place.
Yeah, and it's actually gonna pull back. We're gonna hear that a lot over the time that we talk and we have this podcast going, right? There's common themes between so many different investigations that we've done, and Blennerhassett was the common theme of the Native Americans, right? I mean, you Absolutely. And Aaron were talking about your first experience from the paranormal side with the Native Americans behind your houses in the woods. Blennerhassett Island was also Indian land that of course, the settlers took over and ended up massacring thousands of Native Americans on the island. But there's so much history there, and there's just stuff that like we said, and I'm sure we will have an episode just on that spot. But we do want to touch on that. Like I said, following the ad break today, we'll get into that quite a bit, because it's one of our best photographic captures.
Oh, absolutely! It still sticks with me. It's actually my background on my computer.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
That's when you know it sticks. That's when you know it's important. When it's your background,
right?
Like,
it's still there.
You don't just do that with anything.
But yeah, no, I mean that's we'll get into that here, but without jumping the gun or anything, I mean, you can't get into that investigation without talking about water. That's kind of the whole thing of that one, right? And I think knowing that that's not even around, that shows how I don't even know the right word for it, outside of, it's the water, the energy flow. It's universal. It's not just here. We're not just talking about this area, this city, but it's everywhere. And you can attribute so many different locations to a main water flow. And we've seen that time and time again. I mean, heck, I had a friend just across the state messaged me pictures about another haunted location, that Penhurst Asylum. And without even thinking about it, right, like on the other side of the road, there's a big sign with the Schuylkill River or whatever it is, and out there, it's a pretty big river.
Say that again. What was it? A Schuylkill?
Schuylkill.
The Schuylkill. The Schuylkill.
I could spell it, but I'm not going to.
Okay.
But again, it runs right behind the place, and that's one of the more haunted locations out east of the state. So again, it's just another main waterway that can be attributed and added to these locations.
Yeah, that's one of those places that I would love to get. I hope we can get to before something happens.
I'd love to.
Before something happens to it. There's rumor that they're going to do something with that, and then I don't know if they're going to tear it down or make it not accessible or what they're going to do. But I hope we can get out there before they do anything with that.
Oh, let's hope so. That's one of those ones that's on my ever-growing bucket list of places that I'd love to go to.
Who would have thought? Like, some people have like this lifelong
bucket list.
bucket list. We have a paranormal bucket list. That's a little much.
We do, and it grows. Let's add another one to the list. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, so we're gonna hit some ads here. But like I say, following the ads, stick around. We're gonna hit 3 main bridges, which are pretty much centered within Pittsburgh: the Clemente Bridge, the 6th Street Bridge, and the Andy Warhol Bridge. That we're gonna I'm sorry, it's the Clemente Bridge, the Smithfield Street Bridge, and the Warhol Bridge are three that in Pittsburgh have
the main ones.
Repeated mentions of similar themes when it comes to paranormal activity, and those those people that are on the bridge at night and their senses are going and telling them things, right? So please stick around till after the short ad break. We'll get into all this and of course our Blennerhassett Island Native American Watcher spirit, so please stick around.
The truth, it's out there, and it's waiting for you. The Unexplained Network is your source for the best in paranormal programming, live video streaming, and audio streaming from hauntings, UFOs, Bigfoot, cryptids, and the ever-expanding realm of the unexplained. Listen live or on demand now on Spreaker, Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeart, and Pockets all over the World Wide Web. The Unexplained Network, where unexplained lives. The Unx Network presents a health and wellness spiritually based brand of hemp-derived CBD products made by Hopewell Farm in Harrogate, Tennessee. We apply our Cathara energy work with all of our plants and products. Our products made in small batches with only 2 ingredients of pure hemp, full spectrum crude oil, and coconut-derived MCT oil. Third-party lab tested for potency and legal THC levels with 6 strengths of 1 ounce oil to choose from. Know what you're buying and get what you pay for from Hopewell Farm. Applied directly to a specific area, Hopewell Farm topical salve in 1 ounce and ½ ounce sizes made with pure hemp crude oil, comfrey extract, and all natural ingredients. Find the Hopewell Farm link and coupon code on the Unx Network website at unxnetwork.com. That's unxnetwork.com. The new book, How to Research a Haunted House by paranormal investigator Margie Kay and professional researcher Violet Wisdom, is now available from Unx Media. This one-of-a-kind book explains how to do research on a house with uncommon methods and resources used by historic home researchers, and how to determine who may be doing the haunting and why. How to research a haunted house can be used by homeowners, renters, investors, and it should be in the library of all professional paranormal investigators. Get this unique book at unxmedia.com or amazon.com. That's unxmedia.com or amazon.com.
Welcome back.
We're still here.
Okay, we're still here. Yeah. So let's talk bridges, right? So right before the ads, we had mentioned the 3 bridges that we want to talk about a little bit here. Again, these are all bridges that are widely used within the city. They're right in the heart of the city, just connecting very busy sections of the city together. Those are the Roberto Clemente Bridge, the Andy Warhol Bridge, and the Smithfield Street Bridge. So I think we're going to start with the Roberto Clemente Bridge. So for those that are in the city, even for those that aren't, the easiest way to say it, it's the one that crosses from downtown Pittsburgh over to where PNC Park is, where the Pirates play. So that's a Roberto Clemente Bridge, and Derek's showing some beautiful pictures of it there. So there's been reports for years, and I don't know if they can still continue. I would imagine they do. I'll be honest, I'm not so sure about a lot of them, right? I don't know if they're so much paranormal. The last thing that's very commonly talked about with a bridge certainly can be, but there's a lot of reports of just hearing footsteps of people behind them, right? those footsteps, of course. It's the age-old adage of the footsteps stop whenever the person stops. It's like just following them, right? And there's that feeling, a very common theme with paranormal, accounts, which is there's just somebody there, and they're almost, you can almost see them, but you never do, right? But then the last one,
off in the distance kind of feeling too. You got them watching from afar.
Yeah, exactly. And then the last one that is common between people for even before social media and before the internet and everything. There's been multiple people that have reported seeing a figure towards the center of the bridge, that as they get closer to this figure, it disappears. Right.
It's very much like fog is how they're described. Like it's a mist, and you get the outline of it, and then they're gone. They're just, and to your point, I don't know if these things are really talked about as much anymore. I know that there are stories that have kind of been passed down and have been told throughout the city and throughout time. I don't really hear about them often anymore, but I don't think that I wouldn't be surprised if they're still going on, if these stories still occur. But yeah, that would be frightening in the middle of the night. You work at a night shift somewhere, and you can just feel somebody around you on a bridge, nonetheless. And you're not expecting it. It's not like we're going into an investigation. You're trying to get home from work, going to a doctor appointment, just taking a walk. You're not expecting it. So, you're not, it's not on your mind. And
it is worth noting as well, for anyone who is not familiar with Pittsburgh or the Pittsburgh bridges, the Roberto Clemente Bridge was closed down for a portion of time and used primarily as a pedestrian bridge. So it was just reopened again, I believe, in 2024, if I'm not incorrect there. But for a good amount of time, and especially like when we do have sports games, specifically pirate games, there's events that happen on the bridge, they'll shut the bridge down.
Right.
So, being able to go in there, to be able to walk this bridge, especially whenever it was closed to car traffic, and people were walking across it in the middle of the night. There weren't cars that were going by. There weren't other people going by. Like, I can imagine how eerie that would have been.
Yeah, and I don't know what would be worse, honestly. Walking towards this figure and having it disappear, or walking towards the figure and then having it be the sax man that plays after Pirates songs, games. Yeah. I mean, I want to say the figure that disappears would be scarier, because the sax man's legit. Like, that dude's talented. He is a local legend, as they say.
That's what I was gonna say. Is he's a legend. People from out of town know about the guy. Like you come to a game here from a different city, and they know about him. So he's got his spot. He'll have his place there too one day.
Yep, no doubt. So then we go to the next largest, or the most popular bridge. I think these are all heavily trafficked bridges.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely.
Smithfield Street Bridge is one of the oldest bridges within the city limits,
and it's unique, right? You don't forget this bridge. It just has such a different and unique look to it.
Yeah, because it's old. I mean,
that's a big part of it. Yeah.
And it's old, but very much common themes as across all three of these bridges. But what I thought was really cool with this one, with the Smithfield Street Bridge, is there's not many reports of people seeing anything on the bridge, right? It's people feeling things on the bridge.
Yes,
which I thought was
this is the one that's more known for senses. That it's definitely tied more to those kinds of stories, not the visuals, not even any hearing anything like the footsteps, but they sense it. And it's just strange how each one is a little bit different from the other one. You would think it's a bridge if it's got a little haunting here or a story here. They're all kind of the same, but they're all kind of different whenever you really think about it.
Yeah, and this bridge This bridge is one of those ones where I gotta tell you, I gotta debunk this every day, right? Like this is what we would call debunkable, uh, because I think that this bridge and a lot of the things that people have experienced on this bridge, being that feeling, I think this is where the psychological side of bridge crossings and water crossings and being up high, even though this bridge isn't terribly high, these ones just reek of the psychological side of the paranormal and just unexplained things. There's reports of sudden heaviness, when they're going across the bridge, whether they're going by car or by walking, right? They have a wave of anxiety. There's a strong urge to get off the bridge. Those just scream to me psychological more so than like a spirit. But there's always that potential, right? I don't want to say it's not, right, because people have their experiences, but that's what it seems to me more so on this bridge than the Clemente Bridge.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And I mean, if you really think about the ages of some of these too, that ties all of that together. When the city was really in its boom, right? These bridges would have been a main focal point of that.
Oh, for sure. I mean, these bridges are how these guys and women got to the mills,
right?
And they worked their tails off in the steel mills, and risk their lives every day, and then they trudge back across the bridge home to their families. I mean, if there's anything, it's going to be a sponge for that emotion, right? That work, that hard work and dedication. And these people, a lot of them were immigrants. Most of them were immigrants, which is why the Pittsburgh such a wide variety of nationalities, because of those mills. Like I can imagine those things are like sponges for that.
And that is one of the stories that's told about these bridges, is that if you spot something, it's typically a coal miner, like dirty soot, it's typically going to the mills, to or from the mills. And that's one of the sightings. The other sightings, a woman in like 1940s garb, like that attire. Those are like the two most common about these bridges. And why? I don't think there's ever been an investigation about any of these bridges. You can't. It's not really plausible.
It would be hard, right? It would be hard to eliminate any kind of outside noise.
That's exactly right. There's so much. You're so close to the city. It's heavily trafficked. It's you're not going to close down a bridge for a paranormal investigation. I mean,
but what if you could, right?
Like what? Yeah, that would be extremely interesting.
What if we get so popular by doing this podcast, they will shut a bridge down and we can go talk to whatever's there? That would be cool.
Let's get Unex to push it, and they'll let's just that'll be our goal here.
I'll take it.
Shut these bridges down. But what about the what's the other one? The 6th Street, right? Isn't that one?
It's also the 6th Street Bridge, but it's the Andy Warhol Bridge.
That's right.
Is how I've always called it. That one's the last one, and I'm so anxious to get into our discussion about the Native American watcher on Blennerhassett.
Yeah, I mean, don't jump the gun with the Native American stuff about this area either, because you think about the point, there would have been a heavy presence in this area, not only down at the point where the three rivers converge, but up on the hillsides overlooking them as well. So you add all of these things in between with the Native Americans, you got the water, because with the energy, with the underlayment, you combine all of these things, and man, that I can't even imagine the sheer amount of energy that is just trapped or captured down at the point. I mean, it would be incredible. And you can feel it when you're down there. You don't have to be going down there for any kind of paranormal reason. They host so many activities down there, and there's so many people down there. You step foot down there, man, you could feel it. There's something different about that area down at the point. And these bridges, these waterways, it really puts an exclamation point on these things.
So I'd be curious, Aaron, you have as we've talked about, you have a special heightened sense of, awareness, but also, you're more sensitive, and a little bit more honed as far as that's concerned than I am. I'd be curious if you ever get, like, if you have, when you're crossing bridges, especially like in these ones particular, if you ever, get like a wave come over you or like a different sensation or anything that you could explain.
Not necessarily crossing the bridges, but walking down alongside, like along the river walk, also has a very different feel to it. Like you can, like you were saying, Derek, before earlier in the episode, like you can be transported next to a bridge with your eyes closed, not know that you're there, and know that you're there just because of the energy that's coming off of it, the feeling that's coming off of it, the cold air that's coming off of it, all of that. So walking, I mean, you can see it very well in this picture here. You have the river walk there, those sidewalks that are along the side of the river there that go down into the Pirate Stadium. You walk along there.
All
Anywhere
along the North Shore, it goes
Yeah.
the entire way. I mean, it spans from one side.
It spans forever. When my dad used to work down in Pittsburgh, he used to work at one of the tallest towers down there, and he would park across the bridge and walk all the way down the river walk. Whenever I was younger, I used to work, down in Pittsburgh with him. We would walk in, and early in the morning or later at night, I mean, you're walking down there and the feeling off of those rivers. I mean, you can definitely feel the energy. It's like that near any waterway, really, like near any sort of, I mean, like we said before, like water conducts energy. I mean, it is a known conductor of energy, especially spiritual energy, right? I've had a couple experiences myself that purely were because I was in water at the time that I had those experiences, right? Like that's you are opening yourself up by being part near or around water or in water, Yes, absolutely, 100%. And I would even be interested to see some of the investigations that we have done in the past that we have had significant evidence come through or really interesting things come through. I would be interested to see the proximity to waterways there, because just as we're saying, there's 446 bridges. There are waterways everywhere. There's little creeks everywhere. There's little rivers. There's underwater streams that, you know what I mean? Like it is everywhere. So it wouldn't surprise me at all to see that we were in close proximity to waterways in a lot of the investigations that we've had that have had significant evidence come through.
Yeah, I mean, some of these places have waterways running underneath them. We've been to a few locations where they actually have like caps or lids that you can actually go over to it, because it's been said that there is an intense amount of energy there. I think it was at Fairfield County Infirmary, Dan, that's one of those.
Fairfield County Infirmaries like that, where they have the little sight hole, and that's what they actually use to flush the blood from the morgue downstairs.
That's right.
It would run red whenever they had bodies that they were embalming or something down there.
And you could still hear the water flowing. And then you think about Irish Townsend, they literally had an opening to get to walk down to the opening to the river.
I mean, you can see the river. You can see the river from Irish Townsend, right? Yep. So like that's the thing too. I mean, we were at the pizza shop. There was the pizza shop that we went across some of these bridges to get there. I mean, you were in such close proximity, whether they're in natural springs that are underneath. I mean, I have properties that I'm in sometimes, but I'll go down in the basement and there's a natural spring running through that they have it, dug out, that I have water physically running through the bottom of a house naturally. So that, I mean, it's such a common occurrence here. I mean, we kind of joke, right, that you go down into a basement here in Western Pennsylvania and it's damp no matter what no matter what you do, it's damp no matter what. That's because the water that is so prevalent here, the waterways that are so prevalent. I mean, it's everywhere. I would be really interested to see if we could actually map out even like the underwater waterways that we have in the area.
Yeah, you do have me thinking now, because that would be really interesting. And I think that we would hit on a lot of them. We really would, without even thinking about it.
Yeah. And I mean, to your point, like I mean, the waterways and those boundaries like that is not a new thing, right? Like you think back to the river Styx whenever you're looking at mythology, like it goes back to the very core of our belief system. We see it time and time and time again throughout history, throughout the mythology that we have based our society around. I mean, it's not a new thing, right? Like it's prevalent and it's pervasive.
It's another one of those things that's just ingrained in us.
Yeah, and it's such even it just not it's ingrained spiritually, right? There is so much of our spirituality specifically outside of the intuition and what we look at paranormally. Like there's so much on the spiritual realm from the core of our being that's tied directly to those waterways and bridges and those boundaries, those pathways. Like it's such an overarching theme.
And I don't want to hold Dan up here with the Blennerhassett Island, but another one.
I was going to say I'm biting at the bit.
I know you are. I can tell.
I am. Can we do it now?
That I've heard about with the down at the point with where the three rivers meet is the downed plane or UFO. They don't know. Yeah. I love hearing about that story, how one night it crashed into the river and they had a mass amount of these boats and everything, like army boats and vehicles down there to supposedly take it out. But it never happened, so it was just another one of those conspiracy theories. Like, did it happen? We don't know. There were a lot of people that saw it, but it's always been one of those stories that's always intrigued me. Like, just adding a different facet to the whole water and paranormal side of things.
Yeah, but two things are happening here. One, you're stealing possible other show content that we don't want to get into right now, but also you are robbing us of time of what I want to get into with this Blennerhassett Island.
I'm just dragging it out here.
Can we please talk about this island? I am so excited to get into this, and when you brought it up today, Derek, about lumping this in with this episode, I was like, absolutely yes, let's do that. Well,
let's do it. I mean, let's spend the rest of the time talking about it because it deserves.
Yeah, which unfortunately is only like 7 minutes. Yeah, so we gotta book it. But hey, give us everybody the rundown real quick on this island, just very high level.
The island is central to multiple states here. It actually fits right on the corner of Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Ohio. It's a very it was fought over all the way back to the Native Americans, so much so that they have created burial grounds because of it all throughout the island. And it was built up at one point from just being a heavily trafficked area for not only food goods and the products that they were kind of shipping out and being a mid-level there, but also the land. The land was fought over, and it was really built up by the Blennerhassetts at that point. And it was I'm trying to think of the name. Harmon and Margaret, right? I believe is the Blennerhassetts couple that actually were tied in with Aaron Burr, and the treason that's kind of well known there. And
so after he shot after he shot Alexander Hamilton. Of course, that has brought us Hamilton the musical.
Right.
He ran and was going west to start a new country, and he stopped on the island. Aaron Burr did. He was post shooting him.
Right.
Ran and stayed on this island.
He was good friends with the Blennerhassetts. Exactly. So he actually stayed there during his run.
But let's take a look at this picture, because we're really running slow on time.
So on top of the Native American things, you have the mansions, you have so many different things that go into this, and these pictures. So this was one of my favorite ones with the handprint on the tree, the thermal image. But the real image that we have here is what we think we caught with a Native American watcher.
Nay, what we did catch, Derek. I would not even say we think we did.
If you, I mean, I don't have it zoomed in here, but you can kind of see this area here if you look close. And I don't know if maybe we can get something there in post about something closer. How tall do you think that is? 7 foot, 8 foot tall?
Yeah, I think we figured it was about 8 feet when we looked at it, because when you and I when you saw the photo, it was after the fact, a little bit after the fact. It wasn't like the second you shot it, right? It was a minute or so later.
Correct.
We just did some estimating as far as the tree. I think it was a while ago, but I think it was about 8 feet tall. We figured on this one.
So at this point, we were just walking through the woods. You can see how it was in the fall. The leaves have all fallen at that point. We were walking through the woods, kind of away from this picture. You could hear our footsteps in some of the clips that we have. There's a horse farm right next to us. You could hear the whinnying of horses. And as this is happening, we turn and we start snapping pictures. This is one of the ones that just we so happened to catch something.
Well, yeah, and it was a combination. So we had the horses whinnying behind us. The way this works is this island, it's shut down for the winter, but then when the weather breaks, they bring these horses to the island and they leave them there all summer, and they use them to do carriage rides around the island for tours and things. So these horses were freaking out. I think it was one in particular was just losing its mind.
Here, if you I'm gonna play a clip here, so I'm gonna try to blast the sound just real quick. It's a quick little clip of us. You can hear us walking, you can hear the horse, and you can even hear a word in there. Come out and say hi. I mean, it's very, I mean, you can hear the horse there. And in the clip itself, it's really in the same time frame that we captured this picture. Come out and say hi. But you got that breath, you could hear that, and I mean, without a doubt, and it was just the two of us.
Yeah, and so we heard those the clumping of footsteps through the dry leaves, and then you just, of course, within your typical Derek fashion, just take the damn camera, spin to your left, and snap a picture. And by God, you got it. You got it, right?
I mean, it's hard to deny what we got, and I love to show the picture to people, and I know that for a fact that we when we sent this picture to the group, Hidden Marietta that runs this, they were blown away by what we got. So they were waiting for somebody to get this picture for forever. So it was incredible to them that we were able to get it on our first time there.
Yeah. Hey, you don't have to be good if you're lucky, right?
I'll take it. I'll take whatever we can get.
Well, unfortunately, guys, we are out of time. But we want to hear from everybody, right? We do this podcast, we do all our stuff through our website, through our socials, because we want to hear from people. Does anybody have any experiences on Pittsburgh bridges, just bridges in your area, whatever it is, reach out to us. Iron City Paranormal on social media, of course, Iron City Paranormal Facebook, ironcity.org, our website. Just reach out on any forum. Will be wonderful. It would be great to talk about things. If you'd be willing to get on the show and tell us some stories, we could do that too. But once again, as always, Aaron, Derek, thank you for being here, but also thank you, everybody listening, for crossing the bridge with us tonight, and for making the journey back safely. Until next time, stay curious, stay grounded, and remember, you can always return from the other side of the bridge.